Hey, friends and family. Hey, loved ones. I have so much going on right now, and I just wanted to share. There's so many messages and so much transformation, happening right here, in this now moment. And it's been such an amazing month and an amazing year, really, with so much in it. So many things. And it does feel overwhelming, like, to take it all in and just let it go. And so, yeah, that's what I wanted to share, really, including the whole, this new identity, this new chapter, this new vision, this new age, this new everything, this clean slate. Really, what it is, what it really is for all of us. Yeah, all really. And so, yeah, the way that I'm seeing and experiencing this change and great awakening and transformation within myself, it is really so amazing, and I can't even describe the beauty of it and do it justice. All I can really share is my own experience and what I'm seeing and what I'm reweaving, what I am perceiving and expanding into and learning and remembering, and just offering it to the whole, in service to the whole, and in service to my soul, because yeah, this is what I'm here for. And so, yeah, just because, oh, this is so enjoyable to me to witness on so many levels, this awakening and this new beginning, and really these changes that we've been asking for so long. But it is, oh gosh, such a hard thing to go through. And just such a interesting, amazing, weird love song that we're feeling into. And I just my soul wants to just recite poetry about all of it, and then there's my rational side that just wants to explain all of it, and then coming into balance between both of those poles and unifying the whole, that is yeah, the soul knowing that it's one. And all of these things and all of these synchronicities and all of these energies just playing their part and coming into one whole, through all their many ways and all the networks and all the branches of this tree. And I wish sometimes I could just communicate it telepathically and do that Vulcan mind meld thing, oh. Let's see, that's easier to do with the right hand, which is so funny because there's so many things that are coming up between the right and the left and showing me in my own ways where I've been a little imbalanced, or neglecting certain parts or rejecting certain parts of the whole. And I've seen that where I've rejected certain parts of the mother and where I've rejected certain parts of the father. So of course I would reject certain parts of myself, which I am the luminous child and the holy child. And so how could I even know myself? So yeah, this is the quandary, this is the mystery, this is the, that journey, the hero's journey, to know itself, to find itself, to love itself, to know who we are, to know who I am, in relation to everything else, to the whole. And so it is a new identity, and it's a new beginning and a new awakening, of the soul. Because we are moving into this new age, and it is a new stage, for all of this to unfold, for the mystery to unfold. And so it does help to know where we've been and know what is, and know where we're going, or where we want to move toward. And so yeah, it is a way of unification and an invitation and an initiation into the whole soul, into seeing ourselves as whole. Like whereas like in the age of Pisces it was so different. Like we had to work out like certain things through that phase and stage of our evolution and our awakening. But now we're moving into a new cycle, and there are so many layers to shed and so many things like to transform and transfigure and include and integrate. Oh, and all the things. Oh, it's just it is like a little overwhelming, and that's why our minds are like all this astrology that's been happening, like the celestial play in the heavens and everything. Oh, it can tell us so much about what we've been going through, and like kind of how we've been overloaded in certain ways too. It's like so much processing, and we don't even know some of the things that we are going through. Like, and it's so funny, like the seen and the unseen, and all of the magic and the mystery. And so, yeah, it's just a fun journey, really, to take. And I just love sharing what I'm seeing and what I'm witnessing, what I'm experiencing, like through this awakening, through this great awakening, through my own personal awakening. And I can observe and appreciate like the collective awakening and the collective awakening within myself, and how it does contribute to like this individuation that we're being asked to do, like claiming our own power and our own sovereignty and our own part in the whole. And yeah, reclaiming this new identity of the eternal soul. And so it is a brand new day and a new, like, just way, all these whole new ways to see ourselves and to experience life and to create our own reality. Like from the reality that we had known, and that is painful to like let it all go because it's what we have known. Oh, and that's so hard to let go. So hard for me to let go. So hard. Oh, it felt so hard. I mean, and also like knowing that that is an old story and an old role of being the martyr, like in the age of Pisces. You know, like that everything's so hard and we have to suffer and we have to go through all this trial and tribulation and things. But it's so interesting, like to see like, and also like have it affirmed for me, like reading the Christ blueprint and seeing that Yeshua, or who we know as Jesus, or that through that mythology, like that's been taught to us. Because, yeah, there is that mythology, and then there is like an actual story, and then there is an actual like experience and an actual being. It's just silly. And so, yeah, just like how that has been shown to us, or presented to us or offered to us in certain ways, like this story, this mythology, this gift for our psyche. Um, like how much that has really given us to anchor into like what really is Christ consciousness, like this Christ blueprint. Like reading through like some of that stuff has given me like so many awesome nuggets to help me connect like the dots, or like just to help them, the puzzles fall into place, because it is divine timing and divine order and all of these things that just the partnership with spirit. And it's time for that reordering of all these parts that have been misplaced, to have a space to come back into being, and then like we can unify through our own being. And that means including all those parts that we rejected or recast out because they were deemed unacceptable or dark or whatever it was, like dangerous. But like as we can see, like it's been imbalanced, like this reality and what we've been creating. Like obviously there's such an imbalance, like, and so we have been mobilized to polarized extremes in certain ways. And so what's being asked of us was to bring it all back together again. And so, how do we do that? Like, how do we accept ourselves as we are? And how do we become whole again? Like, when we've been so fragmented and broken, and then just broken open with all this suffering. And that is like the key. Like, there's so many codes and keys that have been coming up for me, and so many omens, signs, symbols, synchronicities, like that play into this play of consciousness for me. And I just want to share them, but I get so overwhelmed in certain ways because it is so much and it seems so convoluted and complicated. But when I come back to simplicity, it's not really all that strange or all that complicated anymore. And so, like, it's just the play of, like, how we interpret and describe and make meaning out of things. And it has shown me how I've been attached and how I use my own energy, like, to navigate my reality. And so I wanted to share some of these things of what I'm experiencing. And I don't know if it makes sense to anyone else, but it is for myself. And like, I do appreciate and I value like my own experience and what I'm seeing. And it is such a fun play of everything. And I know it's what I'm here for, really. And I love humanity and life so much that I want to give in any way that I can. And so, like, showing up and being me and sharing myself in transparency, authenticity, vulnerability, like, is something that I can do and I can share. And it is really for me, like, so that I can, like, just express it for myself and know it for myself and, like, allow it for myself and, like, be true to myself and just enjoy, like, what I am experiencing and what I have been given to experience and to be. And so that's just, like, yeah, it's not really like to say that I'm right or to say that, like, what I'm seeing is the, you know, end all be all of all things. But it's just like my own experience and my own ways of seeing that I feel like it could contribute to someone else's journey, because we all can relate and empathize with each other's pain, with each other's desires, pleasures, um, joys, sorrows, grief, everything. Like, all the things that we experience and all the things that we hope for, wish for, aspire to, and want to be, for ourselves and for each other. Because really, there is this thirst for wholeness, like there's been that hole for so long, this hole inside of us, which, because, like, and it's so funny to play with words, like, this hole inside of us, like, really can help us, and it can be an invitation to become whole within us, and to see ourselves as whole, and to see ourselves as part of the whole, and to change our own minds about, like, what we felt like we were lacking, or what we felt abandoned or rejected or, like, overlooked or excluded by. And yeah, it's all binds of the mind, really, too, because it is all mental. And when we look at, like, the universal principles and the universal laws, and we, like, look into these things, and we see, like, that it is all mental, and, like, how important, like, the mind really is, but like, how, like, it has been hijacked, and the heart has been closed down because, like, we had to go through these kind of phases and stages to be cut off from ourselves to find our way back to the light. And so, like, seeing the bigger picture in this new insight, like this new insight where we're invited back into ourselves and into who we really are, instead of, like, defining ourselves by what is outside. He who looks outside dreams. He who looks within awakens. kind of thing. And like, yeah, and we've all been going along with like the knowledge that we had, or with like what we could, receive for ourselves at the time. But now, like, it's a brand new time, and there's new light coming in, like, to the planet that liberates our psyches from where, from the age of darkness, where we have been, like, kind of cycling backward through, like, the inverted spiral, kind of that decline or that degeneration of consciousness. But it's like, it's time to remember ourselves, and the way that we can do that is by ascending, like, back into our hearts, because we have been stuck, like, yeah, I've heard it, like we're stuck in the three lower chakras, like, which is about all about survival and stuff, because that's like the basic primal instincts of, like, of that survival um, stage. And so, like, we are, like, evolving in these certain ways of, like, knowing how to come back into the heart and unify all things and claim that maturity and raise up um, this energy that we have within us to create. And so, like, it has been stuck, and it has been subsumed, and it has been used or misused or abused in service to survival, and like all of those lower, like, yeah, lower, like, needs or whatnot of the soul, like, and life to survive, like at the very, very primal basic sort of stuff. But like, let's not discount that and like reject that and say that it's worthless and it's like terrible, because it actually does play a part. We get to integrate that and use it, like, in service to the whole, which, like, it has like a very vital role in doing that, and creating, and being that container and sustaining and nourishing, nurturing, like, yeah, if it's used in like that whole way. And like, it hasn't been, it's been disconnected, it's been fragmented, it's been separated from itself, so of course it's going to be working against itself. And like, now we're coming into that stage where we can see more clearly in certain ways, like, um, where it has actually consumed or subsumed itself. And so, yeah, it is like amazing, like, to see it in these new ways, like how we can use it, and how, like, we can integrate like all the energy that we gave away. So all the power, all of our beauty, all of our love that we didn't see, like everything that has been distorted, and everything that has been cast away because of trauma and certain conditioning and certain experiences that we had such a hard time processing and allowing, because it was like the furthest from our nature that we ever could be. Like, these things that we've experienced in the last Pisces age has been like the most brutal and the most unnatural and the most distorted, like, ways of being, like our own personal hell and purgatory. We've been trapped in that for so long, and it's really hard to let go of, like, because we adapted, because we're so amazing, we adapted so amazingly, and we just kind of normalize everything. And so it is like such, I don't know what else to say about it. I was just gonna say fuck addled journey. But yeah, because it is such a mind trip and a mind fuck, because of all the mental things that we've been through, all the mental trauma, all the poisoning of the mind, and all those things that we had to do to survive, and to, like, to navigate through this reality. Like, we had to create so many false personas and so many masks and so many like personalities or energies that could come up and perform a task or um, yeah, what am I trying to say? Really, just yeah, like a lot of manipulation because we learned uh, through that manipulation, like that's how we need to play, like through this game. And so it is like so many different distortions caused through like not being able to be honest with ourselves and honest with others, and playing through all these games and all these roles that we tricked ourselves. And it does play into self-deceit and self-deception so much. And so like we oh man, we blame others for this, but like, and we blame ourselves, and we're so hating on ourselves. Oh my gosh, we put so much pressure and so much judgment and so much, oh, so much heavy stuff on ourselves. It makes me just cry for the heart. Like, that we've done like this well, like going through this hell, you know? And we're just finding ourselves and remembering how to find our way back to our own well, back to our own well-being, and back to the truth of who we really are, which is wholeness, which is like connectedness, which is like that deep rootedness in all like well-being and in this tree of life that we are and that we've always been a part of. And so like coming back to that, but like coming through that, and like all this trauma and all this shit that we've been through, it's like so incredible, really. And it is kind of hard to find our way through all that darkness, um, and that forgetting, and then remembering who we are and trying to navigate, like, and flipping back and forth between those two parts, like, and trying to make sense of it all without trying to control it. And yeah, just wow. And so it is like an epic, epic, epic story. And so it really is about, oh my gosh, like trusting ourselves really, and trusting the love and trusting our hearts again, and coming back into like that heart and the heart wisdom, the wisdom of the heart, and letting that inform our minds and our and also like connecting again to that divine spark which is in our bodies, because our body is a part of our soul, which is actually like manifest into form, into some kind of a form that we become attached to, and we make frozen, and then we restrict and we conform into something, and then it becomes a slave, and then it can't like transform, and it gets stagnant. And like just seeing all these things through alchemy, through my own alchemical process, and like how we've been taught to work against ourselves, because we've been taught that we're wrong, and that like all of this is wrong, and that we need to make it right. But that's actually like really counterproductive. And we've always been taught to see a problem and to try and fix it, and that's like really like noble and everything, like because we're so caring and empathetic. But it actually doesn't serve us in certain ways, or uncertain ways, I don't know. And like we're beginning to see like some of those ways like that we have been against ourselves, and been at war with ourselves, and separated ourselves from ourselves, and made ourselves into our own worst enemy, when we're actually our own beloved and our own friend, our own best friend and our own ally. And so it is all about a new like identity, and how can we create that as well, like, or how can we allow that to be created through us, because that's what life really wants to do, is always seeking balance, and it's always like seeking novelty and growth and expression and authenticity and joy and love, because that's what the soul is and that's what life is. And that's what she is, that's what the goddess is, and that's what Sophia is. And it's so interesting to look at Gnosticism and the myths and the stories in that, and the wisdom in that, the nuggets in that, and all of the stories of the world, all the mythologies, and all of the stories that we've been telling ourselves. And stories can be such a great clue and such a great medicine, and so good, like, to see into like all of these threads that connect everything else. And so that's why writing is such a good practice as well, like expressing ourselves and actually observing and seeing the stories that are being told to us, and the stories that we're telling ourselves, and the stories that we are drawn to, attracted to, that we can relate to, and also the stories, yeah, that we get addicted to in telling ourselves. And like looking at some of those stories, like from all of these characters, these all of these different characters' perspectives, and like seeing how like that has formed an identity and has formed certain beliefs and identities and attachments and all of these things, and like how like different stories hold different nuggets of wisdom for us, and how everyone's perspective can show us something about us, about like our own journey, or about our own aversions, our own preferences, our own directions, our own perceptions, like the way that we see ourselves in relation to the whole. And that's is just never ending, really, like how we can play with certain things if we allow ourselves to see. If we allow ourselves to see fully and know that we're a part of everything. And so, like, yeah, it's just a fun play of life, really. And I just love it. And I am, like, thoroughly entertained. But, like, there are, like, these certain limitations that I have where I want things to be a certain way. And, yeah, because this game of life, yeah, it is, like, such a play. And we do make it real for ourselves in every single way, because we have put energy into like all these ways that we see ourselves and that we want things to be, and that we how we perceive life to be, because that has been our number one control strategy, is to tell ourselves how things are so that we can identify ourselves through what we see. And like that's just what we've learned, and that's our old conditioning. And so like stepping out of all that and into a new identity of the eternal self, through all of these possibilities that we are the creator of our own reality, like that's a lot to take on. That's a lot of that's a lot of responsibility and a lot of power to hold and wield. And and so we are coming into that spiritual maturity and that sovereignty, and like and really like that ability to see and remember. Excuse me. And so it really is fun, like seeing all these things and just like playing in my own way, and experiencing this like in my own individual ways, but knowing that it's connected and it's related to what the collective is going through. And I so appreciate all my relationships and all the mirrors and all the reflections and everything that I see that can teach me more about me, and more about how I'm operating or cooperating and what I'm choosing and creating, because of like this interplay and this interconnection and this inner stage within me. And like, yeah, just learning how to be in whole new ways. And it is like exciting, but it is scary and it's overwhelming, and it's like it's a little unsettling sometimes. It's really intense and overwhelming, but like it is like the best best treasure hunt and most amazing story ever, really. And so, yeah, I wanted to share like a little bit about like what I've been doing in the last couple weeks, and yeah, what's been coming through for me, what I've been seeing. And so, like, what I've been nudged to do, like, I feel like it's a stage for me for hyper birthing in certain ways, but it's also a stage for rest. And so, like, coming into balance, like, man, that's really a test. So, like, because I really want to show up for other people and love other people and care for other people, and because I have so much wealth to share and so much love to share, and I love that. It makes me feel like amazing and feel so good. And I love other people and other connections in my life, but I also love like the time that I can have for myself. And oh my gosh, I value that so much. Like what I can choose and what I can receive when I allow that for myself. And it does like allow me to give more authentically to others when I can allow that and give that to myself. And so seeing like the value of exchange and actually how much love can grow and can be when I do offer that to me. Like I can step back and healthfully detach from certain things and know it's not an obligation or something I have to be. Um, and then restoring myself and recalibrating and then coming back out into the world and then being able to share that with love, joy, authenticity, and fullness without strings. Yeah, learning how to switch from a parasitic exchange, or not exchange, but parasitic dynamic into like this reciprocal exchange where I do trust my partnership with spirit and I can let go and be receptive and let everything move through me and let go of who I think I'm supposed to be or the role I'm supposed to play or how I'm supposed to seem, how my image is supposed to be, how I'm supposed to be seen, how I'm supposed to be received, and just like allow love to and my own soul and to be and to move through me and to make this magic and like not attach to it or possess it and just let it like go where it needs to and flow freely through me because I am that conduit. Like I am that channel. I am everything and nothing. And so, wow, like seeing so many things into that and where I've wanted to hold on to that. And I've seen like in so many years, like through so many teachings and so many experiences and relationships, like that have taught me all about that. Like it maturing and coming into something that I can really like see and I'll be able to share and articulate like how that has been for me. So there's this one teacher. Um, when I was experiencing a lot of new things and going through like certain initiations, like with plant medicines and ceremonies and things I'd never experienced before, and she had shared a lot about like if you have something that comes in and you want to share it for the group, like just like enjoy it and love it and like know that it's like the best thing ever, but then give it back, give it back to the whole, give it back to God, give it back in service to the soul. And like just knowing, like hearing the wisdom in that and receiving it and having it resonate and stuff, but like actually knowing it and seeing it and experiencing that on deeper levels, like especially the last couple weeks, and knowing what that's really all about is um, not hijacking it or not possessing it to inflate the ego and telling it telling like myself this is who I am because I've done this, or this came through me and I got to give this and I got to offer this, or I got to play this, or this got to play through me, or I got to play it being this, like, and this is who I am. Like it's just like really, yay, that energy got to come through me. It got to bless these people, or it got to bless me. It got to bless me and we. And it's something that gets to move, and it keeps getting to grow and expand and be freed and spread out through the whole, like, forgiving, like, for everything. And letting it go, like, because it was like love that came through me. It wasn't like something that my love, well, let's see, yeah, it'll come, it will be, and it is clear, but it's just like putting it into words and then wanting or having that agenda to describe it in a certain way, like, so that it can be received. Like, that's when I feel like I can block me. And so asking for more clarity around that, like, but it was like, and it does come and it does go, and it seems so clear sometimes, and just gotta let it be revealed again without my ego having to hijack it and tell myself what it is, and possess it, like, and this is the way, like, but like just trying to share and explain or describe my experience in certain ways and define my experience, which I've been asked not to do, not to define everything that I'm experiencing, because it prevents me from living fully in the present. And so, yeah, there always is a paradox about, around, yeah, all of these things. And that's why it's a little overwhelming too, because of the way that we've been conditioned to use logic and then discount or devalue intuition and internal knowing. And so just like remembering that we are including that part of ourselves again, which is part of the divine feminine, which is like the arts of the feminine, the art of the feminine ways of healing, and that magic that creates coherence because it sees everything as a whole, and it knows like that where every part is, where every um, place is, like, for that part, and that like every part has a place in the whole, and every part plays a role, and it's like happening multidimensionally, simultaneously, in every single way through all of our ways. And this is like the diamond consciousness and Indra's net and all of that. And yeah, just, I wish I could speak to everyone in pictures and symbols and just show you like how it all connects, like with all of the patterns and sequences and things, like with the sacred geometry and the Fibonacci sequence, and like the golden spiral and the golden mean, and like how the timing, how the divine timing and order like all lines up with all of these things, and how it is all connected, and how it is like sometimes like projected in an egoic way, or like in divine, um, reciprocal, sacred, uh, unified ways, like between that masculine and feminine energy. And so, like, it is such a trip, and like going through all of these things and seeing like where my work is going to lead me, and like with the hyper birthing that I'm going through, like birthing my own self and birthing my own creations, and like my creator, my creation energy, like putting out all of this stuff because it's like all that's been given to me. And when I realize it for myself, and that's like when I'm in prosperity, because I know nothing is separate from me and I'm not lacking, and to hold my desires lightly because they're not separate from me, and there's something that I can like immediately like regenerate just by like the focus and the attention and the belief that I'm holding within myself, at that moment, like in the now. Like, and when I align with that, that's how powerful I am. And like, that's how powerful we all are when we focus on that love and that truth and that beauty and that goodness, and like in the true gifts that we're actually given without that agenda, without like that self-consciousness like that we've been conditioned to be in, or because we haven't really been being. We've been existing, you know. But it's all learning, growing, and all part of the experience. And so, like, not discounting any part of it, and like just knowing that we have gone through a lot and we've been so bombarded, and there has been so much thrown at us. I mean, oh God, like we've been so cut off from like the heart of us, like from who we really, really are. And we've gone into the deepest, darkest pits of hell and seen what that has created for us. But that has been all to help us know who we are. And it's been, yeah, that greatest soul experience, like to be like in that experiment, to see like what would happen if, you know, like that's where we had to find our way back from, to transmute everything and to have it come back into harmony. And like that's just part of the soul's experience, like knowing itself, knowing thyself, you know, knowing ourselves, loving ourselves, knowing thyself. And so, yeah, just a trip and a half, like for all that we've been through in this stage, yeah, of growth and awakening. This stage, like where the, they tried to bury us. They didn't know we were seeds, and now like we have to. I mean, we get to, like, we get to make that choice of like letting go of everything so that we can like be nothing, and then we can become all we are. And so like that is the seed, and that is the butterfly, and that's the chrysalis, you know, energy like that we are in right now. And so it is like super intense. So it's just like everything. But it is a new day and it is a new time, and so yeah, it's very magical and a new cycle. And so for my like magical alchemical practice and play, I started a new journal on August 29th. And what I decided to do, like I got some new journals and a lot of like beautiful gifts for my birthday. And keys are coming up. So I asked my husband if he would buy me some journals because, yeah, I was almost out of mine, and I go through mine a lot because I do a lot of writing, and it's like really like medicine that I need for me, and something that I can choose for me to help me recenter and know myself and integrate all of these parts of me that I have been unconscious of and unaware of. And it's been like the best gift that I could have chosen for me to express myself so that I could know myself and love myself and include like all the parts of myself, become aware of them, and bring the darkness into the light, make the darkness conscious, you know. And so yeah, like it's awesome that I didn't ask for him to get these for me, that it was just like something he chose, but it's so perfect. And um, it's just kind of like this leather bound journal with this like leather wrap and this key, you know, that just like slips into this little thing and secures the book. And it's like kind of like old looking paper, you know, like kind of vintage look and stuff. But what I decided to do, this is like, I didn't know what was the top and what was the bottom, and what was heads and what was tails on this. And I was like, okay, well, you know what? I'm just going to do something fun and new and weird and interesting. And so what I decided to do was just start from left to right. And so that's what I'm doing. As I started from the back, and so I'm moving to the front. And so like just thought like, hey, that would be fun for my brain to do that too, and just something new, like to shake things up. And it was a brand new cycle around the new moon. So it was a new journal, and I used a brand new pen. And it was a new day, it was a new morning. And that's what I like, just was led to do, like without overthinking it or anything. It was just like, okay, let's do this. Let's play with this. And so August 29th, 2022, a new cycle, a new day, a new journal, a new pen, a new story, a new way to play, a new way to see through love's whole new ways, a new dream, a new vision, a new play, a new stage, a new chapter, a new journey, a clean slate, beginner's mind, wake up and play. Let go, be yourself, be in joy, being loved, being you, loving you, enjoying being, loving you, be yourself, love yourself. Love yourself through and through. So be yourself, know yourself, love yourself for yourself. Love yourself through your whole self in partnership with life, growing a soul-made life. She is in partnership with life, growing her own soul-made life. And we know, oh, welcome home to you. So welcome home, welcome home, welcome home to you. A life living life, a life in beauty, a life living in beauty, a life alive and shining so fully. All life, life alive, worth living. I love you, I thank you, I respect you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bless you, bless you. Bless your loving heart. I am a magnificent being, radiant in my joy, love, present, and light. I love, I love, I love. Like this loving, beating heart. Sharing my love and joy with the world and shining the light that I am through all that I am, committed, devoted to the life, love, light of the one love source light that I am, the love I am always and I always have been, the love I always am and have always been and will always be. Through all that I am received, forgiving, for being, for loving, living, presencing. My presence and love is enough within the life that I am. And this life being breathed and born again and again. I am enough, we are enough, love is enough, now is enough. Here is enough, there is enough, abundant joy, peace, love. It's all so, so enough. Keys and keys, codes, light and keys, light codes and keys, new stories, new possibilities, abilities coming online and being harmonized, synthesized, realized, remembered, and amplified. I am always arriving. The circle and formless form. Taking action, showing care, being willing and receptive, brave, loving, aware. Making tinctures today, oh, so magical and amazing. Balsam fir, usnea, fennel seed, tobacco, alcamping root, and licorice root. Yea, all my relations and my love. Hip hip hooray. Salutations to the celestial physician and the light at the center of everything. The magic, the love, the beauty, the value, the worth, the preciousness and sacredness of the light within and the life inspired being breathed and born through everything. The light at the center of everything, the divine feminine presence. Like Shekinah, yeah, the light alive at the center of everything. And like just seeing that in everything and every being, that it is all sacred, the sacred and profane, the magic and mundane. It is not separate, it is a part of the same thing. Taking small steps, focusing on the basics, taking small steps. Oh, that's funny. It's like some of this dyslexia is coming up. Taking steps small, LOL, playing and trusting, answering the call, answering her call, I am called. And it's all about what we love and what love we can choose for ourselves. What turns us on, what makes us feel alive, what sparks and enlivens our passions, interests, curiosities, and joy. The love we need for ourselves. So the love that we need for ourselves is also the love that the world needs. And so that's like the thing that we've overlooked and what we've taken out of the equation. And that's like kind of like where the root of the imbalance stems from, because we've been taught like that we're unimportant, and then there's a part of ourselves that overcompensates, that wants to feel so important, and that's how we've constructed like our identity and our ego and all of those things that we're attached to. And so like, yeah, just kind of like coming in here and learning like, okay, like what have we created, let's take accountability for that, and let's love ourselves through this, like through this unlearning and this relearning and this reweaving and forgiving. So embrace your inner weirdo, like your inner alien or your inner child, your mother, your father, your former orphan. Like stepping out of this victim consciousness and becoming the victor, because love always wins. Love is all we are. This creator mentality, this magic, and this like sacred cooperation, this power, freedom, and responsibility, this joy, love, presence, and being. So maybe the inner weirdo is the best friend we never knew we had. Like this part of ourselves that we've rejected and disconnected from because we thought it was bad, or we thought it was gonna be dangerous or get us into trouble, or other people didn't like it, and so we reject it. And like there's so much power in all of that energy that we have rejected, and it has been distorted in certain ways so that we've been afraid of it. And so like just becoming aware now of those things like that we have projected onto the external world and dumped into the shadow, and that we haven't claimed for ourselves, and like how much power really is in that, and how much gold really is in that, and how much love really is in that, and wholeness and fullness and everything like that we've rejected or been taught to see is wrong with us in a lot of ways. And so like embracing that inner weirdo and that freak and that part of ourselves that we buried, that is actually wanting to come alive and be a part of the whole again, that actually can transform everything. Because when we do include everything, there is room for everything, and that can change everything that is and has been and will be. And so just like knowing that there is so much power like in this individual journey, like so that we can see it for ourselves and know it for ourselves and know ourselves and love ourselves as we are, as we've been, and as we will be. And that is the power of like that Trinity, and like in everything that we can and are and will be. And it's just like knowing that nothing is separate and everything is like, and when we can unify it within our own being, it can come into balance, and it can come into harmony, and we can like start to play with it and be the master and the creator of our own reality. And so, yeah, it's just like just fun stuff that I've become aware of, and it's just like everyone gets to experience it for themselves. And it's not my job to convince or convert anyone to like the ways that I see and the ways that work for me. It's just like kind of want to like put it out there to inspire and help others like become aware of like their own power, their own responsibility, maybe like their own programming and their own rigidities, and like just accepting the whole and accepting where we are now and accepting like our journey and like all that's being like given as a gift to us now. And so yeah, it really is about inclusivity and this healing, this holding, like being free and including all parts, because they do have a place. And they, yeah, in this new unified reality of being all things and nothing and many and one simultaneously. So this is super fun. Thank you, life, for everything. I have no complaints whatsoever. I love you. I thank you. I respect you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Service, devotion, love, liberation, and freedom for all beings. The circle of unity, the circle of all things. The sacred hoop, the sacred mirror, the tree of life, the threefold flame, the golden heart, the star heart flame. The cheerleader, the pillar, the cup, the rock, the earth, the sand, The shoreline, the water, the wind and fire, the air, the breath of life. The four salts of the earth, the crack in the universe, the rainbow bridge, the golden keys, the jewel in the lotus, the pearls of wisdom, gained through perseverance, grace, and experience. Concordia, balance, inner sun, and harmony. The orphan, the martyr, the miser, the beggar, the victim, the saboteur, the whore, the weirdo, the freak. The mystic, the sage, the outsider, the caregiver, the lover, the romantic, the poet, the devotee, the master, the tyrant, the slave. The addict, the epicure, the communicator, the ambassador, the oracle, the seer, the student, the teacher, the messenger, the hierophant, the lovers, and the seer. Father, mother, child, everything. The Trinity. And I love you all. Bless you all. Thank you all. Respect you all. Thank you for being here. And like all this love that we are. Okay, talk to you later. Enjoy your own journey. Be love for yourself. I love you. I thank you. I respect you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Whole self. Love for you, love for me, love for we, love for every being, love for all of us, all of we, this web of being, all we be. Love you, love me, love we, love you, love me, love everything. All this love that all we are in every way for every being. Love ya. We'll see you. Bye for now.